we will just go ahead and jump right in. Can
Sure.
you tell our readers a little bit about yourself, how you got your start, and a little bit about your films?
Yeah. So how did I get my start? I suppose I started directing like when I was, I think, 7, and I would just seen Star Wars, and I decided to put a production on in my back garden. And I cast all my local neighborhood neighbor kids in different roles. And I was hooked from then. So I've always, I trained as an actress, as a dancer, as a singer. And then in my 20s, I started writing screenplays and working for a French production company, doctoring screenplays. And then I started making my own films. I started teaching film at university. And then I was getting screenplays optioned by different production companies. Um, and then I was writing and directing theater. And most recently, I went back and I redid and I did hadn't master's already, but did an MFA in theater directing, and so was back in Ireland and working at the Abbey. I've had plays on in New York, and this is my return to cinema, uh, making this short film.
Awesome. That's very impressive. Very impressive.
Oh,
Very impressive. So we're gonna jump into the film. So the film's called Fat.
yeah.
Um, I know that it's a difficult subject matter. Can you tell us what like initially sparked and inspired this story?
So it is a very difficult subject matter that I felt really needed a voice,
Mhm.
especially in cinema. I came across this article, strangely enough, that was about the relationship with people struggling with weight and childhood sexual trauma. And there was something like 46% of the people surveyed who had these weight and eating issues. Had experienced childhood sexual trauma, and I thought it was something that was very important to investigate a bit,
Mhm.
especially with the rise of GLP-1 medication. And it's obviously something that's just treated in the media so, voraciously that I wanted to dig in and go, well, what's going on here, and why is there such a strong correlation?
Oh, awesome, awesome. So, that's what like that's what symbolizes the title. Is that where you get the title from?
And also, for me, what the title is really about is about the weight and burden of living with this trauma inside your body, and the fact that there's such stigma around it in society that people just cannot talk about it. And that starts really, I think, like from incidences of it onward. So I think children aren't equipped to confide in their grown-ups about this because it's very hard to build a society where this conversation is easy. And then as people live with this trauma, people are so uncomfortable talking about it that people are isolated and kind of have to carry it alone. So I really was trying to break the silence across the board so that I wanted to create a conversation in a way that was accessible. And I felt film was the kind of most powerful tool to do that.
Oh, nice. So, you would say that the important parts of it as far as the like the physical perspective, because I see that you deal with a lot of the physical perspective, because in a lot of films you see them dealing with like the mental health perspective and they kind of go that way. But as I was viewing the film, I noticed that it was more of a physical perspective. Was that on purpose?
Well, I think the very kind of pernicious problem with childhood sexual trauma is that it has a physical impact. Like it seems like a trauma that embeds in the body, and so to kind of root it out is extremely challenging because it's so deeply interwoven into, I don't know, our cellular structure or something. And so the idea of going back to the body, both as the place where the crime occurs, but also as the place where you can heal, seemed to me the most potent kind of landscape to uncover and, explore with the film.
Okay, perfect. So is that the emotion that you were hoping that you would provoke out of the audience?
So I think what I wanted from the audience, or what I want from the audience, is maybe twofold. Is on the one hand for survivors to kind of experience their story, know they're not alone, and in a way, not demonstrate a path to healing, but evoke a kind of like an image of healing. And also then for audience members who are allies to give a kind of tool to use to start conversations with friends or family members or just people they know that have experienced this so they're not so uncomfortable talking about it and can share that story.
Okay, and then I know it's a very difficult subject matter. How did you prepare like your cast and crew for to even film something like this? I know that some people have been through their own traumas themselves, and this can evoke and bring up certain emotions and stuff when working. Did you deal with any of that?
So what we really focused obviously on the child, and she was a professional actress that the casting director brought in, and obviously her parents were fully aware of the script. But more importantly, I worked with her mother to create an alternate storyline. So we actually, as far as she was concerned, the man sitting beside her was rolling a cigarette under the table, which is what he did. So the entire kind of shoot was oriented around a different storyline so that she wasn't exposed to the weight of this story. And then with the adults, obviously everyone had the script well in advance, cast and crew, and just keeping them appraised of the story. And actually, what happened with most of the crew and the cast was they felt really deep gratitude that this story was being told and that they could be part of telling this story and that it felt very important to them, an important work. And then the main actress, we worked with her in a body double, and they had an intimacy coordinator that we rehearsed with for a day before the shoot. And actually, I think that was probably the most powerful work we did ahead of the film. Um, and that's, I think, why they were able to go to such vulnerable places with their bodies and their emotions.
Awesome, awesome. And you're at Dances with Films. How's that? Like, how's that feeling being here in LA and premiering your film?
It was, I mean, honestly, like I think there was a romance to it. It's like it was at the Chinese theater. It's in Hollywood. It's where films are made, and so that was exciting. I also obviously connected with just the title, just Dances with Films, because there is an exploration of dance and movement. And it's great because it's filled with fellow filmmakers. So all the conversation is with people who are so passionate about film. And the response from the audience was just spectacular. Like we had an incredible premiere that was so uplifting and powerful, really incredible experience.
Amazing. I'm so happy for you guys.
Thank you.
Do you can you speak a little bit more about the dancing movement? Was that intentional with the film as well?
Yeah, I mean, so I really believe like trauma does live in the body, and what I was trying to explore was the way the kind of past is as present as the present is for people with trauma. I mean, for everyone, I think, but especially with people carrying trauma. And the language of dance is something that's almost like subconscious, or there's a capacity for the body to move beyond itself through dance. And so it was there to provide access to that, but also to remind people of what was at stake, what could be lost, and also where one could find the power again to bring back in some strength to the body to create agency and, reclamation. So when Maeve discovers that at the end, it's because it was there in the beginning too.
Oh, awesome. And then I know that it's at Dancing with Films, but do you guys have any other things coming up? Like is the film stretching beyond this festival into other markets?
So we're going to Galway Film Fleadh next in Ireland. We're very excited about that for our Irish premiere. And that's a great festival, like a kind of quite a strong industry festival with like Oscar qualifying win and all that kind of stuff. And then we're moving into pre-production for the feature film. So we've had a phenomenal response to this film. And I think the big, what a lot of audience has said is like, we need to see this in a feature length version, and we need to see this in all the theaters. People need to see this. People need to see this. So it's trying to create the story in a way that can get it to as many people as possible.
Perfect. And then what's that process going to be in terms of the feature film? Is this like a lengthy process or have you already started working towards that?
So I've already started writing the script. We already have a production company. We have got some seed investors. So I guess we're looking for either a co-production company or other seed investors to complete the financing. Obviously, these things will cost a lot of money, but it's as soon as we have all that in place, I think I think this will actually move quite quickly, to be honest. Yeah.
Awesome. And then just closing out, what do you hope that, the viewers will take away from the film? Those that have been through this trauma and those that maybe know someone that's been through the trauma, or people that are just trying to understand it better. What do you hope that they take away from your film?
Um, well, first of all, that they're not alone. Secondly, that there's a pathway through the pain and the kind of the burden of carrying this trauma. We certainly provide resources at the beginning and end of the movie. But more than anything, it's really to raise awareness. We've been working with a lot of advocacy groups in both Ireland and the US. One and Four in Ireland, We Ride Together in the US, Darkness to Light. And the big thing we're hearing back is there's very little funding for charitable organizations going toward prevention. And again, I think it's because of the taboo. It's like people just are uncomfortable. So what I want is the audience to, we've started a campaign of be a hero, and it's like to be a hero for this cause is literally to talk about it because it touches up to like 1 in 4 people globally. So if people are more free to talk about it and maybe using a film to start the conversation, then hopefully people will more readily, dig into their pockets, send funds to organizations that are working really hard to prevent this, even though it's actually growing as a problem in society.
Amazing. Yeah, do you have any websites that they can reach out to? Are you partnered with anyone in terms of this yet?
Yes, so 1 in 4 in Ireland. We Ride Together in America. We're starting a collaboration with Darkness to Light for our next festival. We created these tote bags. If anyone's listening to this and they got one at the festival, they were a big hit. On the back of that tote bag is a QR code to donate to We Ride Together. So that's certainly one way you could help. We'll have a similar one for 1 in 4 at Galway. Um, and yeah, even like find out for yourself. Darkness to Light is a great organization in the States. 2 0 is a great organization globally. Um, yeah, and I guess to end on the fact that what we actually tried to achieve was a movie that was also like engaging and exhilarating and empowering, and so that it allowed people to come and see something that ordinarily they might shy away from, but actually the film is so engaging and the performances are brilliant, and that's what they leave with is this feeling of having seen an amazing film, which is, I think, hopefully what will happen.
Amazing. And how can our viewers reach you? Do you have social media, emails,
Yep,
website?
we are at Fat Movie.
Perfect. And any final words, anything I know that you're doing the full length film with Fat. Are there any other projects that you're working on that you can speak about or
Sure. So
yeah.
I wrote a play called The Station that was optioned by Alice Productions for a feature film that Screen Ireland has funded the development of. So that's coming up next. And then we are also in the process of adapting a gothic psychological horror called Divine Right.
Interesting. Okay.
So we have 3 projects kind of on the slate at the moment. Yeah,
Awesome.
at Ashore Productions. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you for your time, Dolores, and we should all be going out to see Fat. I know that it's already premiered at the Chinese Theater. Where else can folks be able to see the film? Are they able to view it online?
So if you follow at Fat Movie, we'll keep
Mhm.
everyone up to date about where the screenings are. And when we have it available online, that'll be where you'll find out.
Perfect. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, T. Thank you for your questions. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.